Let me switch on the recording. Give me a second. All right, so let me share the whiteboard. Friction we are going to finish today. For 6th lesson and 8th lesson, Lamai, we are going to have PDF notes. Have you all received PDF notes before? Are we calling PDF notes use kala thiya or is it the first time that we will be using? Alamai? Have we ever used PDF notes before? Printed notes where I send you the PDF and you take a printout? Yes or no? Just quickly tell me.
Two.
Sorry. So I first lesson we wrote the note, right? Hand wrote the note. Third lesson? Third lesson also we hand wrote, neither. Okay. All right. Put a topic. Friction. Lamai, for last week's missed class, we are going to have a rescheduled class. So far I'm thinking of 28th, but 28th we will also be having a free seminar. A whiteboard එක පෙන්නන්න නේද? 1 second. Okay, wait. I'll send the link in the chat. ඔන්න මම ඒව main chat එකේ. So ඒකත් මම ඔයගලන්ට චුට්ටක් කියලා තියන්නම් before we start. On 28th of May, which is going to be, I think it's Hajji Davase, Uday, we are going to have a seminar where we discuss previous lessons. Api lesson ඔක්කොගෙම questions තමයි discuss කරන්නේ. It's going to be a full-on discussion of grade 10 lessons until, if I remember right, 7th lesson එක වෙනකන්ද කොයිද ඒකේ discussion එක යනවා. Okay. 7th lesson is it's quite a crucial lesson. It's a free seminar. It's available for everyone. So you guys also can join. And it's also open for everybody. So if you have friends or anybody else who would like to join the free seminar, you can let them know too. මම ඒකේ registration links ඔක්කොම මිස් දිව්‍යාට කියන්නම් දාන්න කියලා. එතකොට මම කිව්වා වගේ first lesson එකේ අපි වෙනම paper එකක් දෙනවා ළමයින්ට කලින්. දීලා අපි first lesson එකේ question එකක් discuss කරලා we revise the first lesson. Second lesson එකේ question එකක් discuss කරලා we revise the second lesson. We revise the third lesson. We revise the fourth and fifth lessons. Fifth lesson is what we're doing today. And sixth and seventh lesson. Sixth lesson and seventh lesson. මම හිතන්නේ 8th එක නම් නැහැ, but up to 7th lesson it's going to be a big revision. So I think it would be very good for you to join. So just letting you know, 28th morning, I think උදේ 8ට කොහෙද ඒක time එක දාන්න. It's a 3-hour seminar. So you can just join. Okay. ඊට අමතරව last week miss වෙච්ච class එකට I actually did not have a vacation to enjoy, but I was quite busy, actually very busy with some meetings and all. But yeah, not really, not a vacation at all. But yes, I mean, it's been quite hectic. So yeah, nothing much to enjoy. But I hope you enjoyed, you guys enjoyed your little holiday last week. And also that you guys enjoyed your week or the 2 weeks. And also that I think since all of your term tests are over, you must have had a little bit of a free time past few 1 or 2 weeks. I hope so. Okay. So with that being said, I think we can start. Maria, we just started actually. We were just chit-chatting a little bit. But we are just starting the lesson now. We are doing friction today. All right. Put the topic friction. This is lesson number 5. Okay. So I will explain friction very simply. May textbook ke what even a first page second page it's just a lot of like paragraphs and words. But I will explain you the concept of friction. ඔගලන්ට ඕනෙම question එකක් ඇහුවොත් friction වලින් you will be able to answer, right? නැත්නම් paragraph කොච්චර ලිව්වත් වැඩක් නෑ if you don't understand the concept. That is what I have observed when it comes to friction in most of the students, right? දැන් මෙහෙමයි. ඕනිම motion එකක් වෙනකොට when there is a motion, friction is some sort of an opposite force trying to stop that motion. What does that mean? ඒ කියන්නේ හිතන්න ඔන්න තියෙනවා let's say table top එකක්. This is a tabletop. On this tabletop we have an object like this. All right. දැන් මම මොකද්ද කරන්න හදන්නේ? මම මේ object එකට force එකක් දෙනවා මේ පැත්තට. This is the force that I apply. Force that I apply to move this object, right? If force apply කරනකොටම that this object is now trying to move now in the right hand side, the object is in contact with the table. Table එක මොකද කරන්නේ? Table එක කැමති නෑ object එක move වෙනවට. Table එක object එකට දෙනවා opposite direction එකට force එකක්. This is not a force that you can actually see. What මේ force එක පේන්නේ නෑ. Right? This force only we call it friction. Whenever there are two surfaces, now in this particular case, the object and the table are the two surfaces, right? And they are in contact with each other. The table is trying to move to the right hand side because I applied a force to the right hand side. So the object is trying to move to the right hand side. Move when a kotama, nata move when a hadana kotama, anit surface the table lakane. Table එකට තියෙනවා මෙයා move වෙන හදන්නේ and table එක කැමති නෑ ඒකට. So table එක මොකද කරන්නේ? Opposite direction එකට force එකක් දෙනවා trying to stop that motion or trying to oppose that motion. That is what we call friction. හරියට නිකන්
Excuse me, miss.
Yes, Asheli.
Can you explain again? I had a connection issue.
Yes, I'll explain again. Now we have two surfaces, the object and the table, right? I'm applying a force to the object in order to move the object to the right hand side. So the object is supposed to move to the right hand side and it might also move. So the anit surface how the contact will in a table එක. Table එක කැමති නැහැ object එක move වෙනවට. Table එක මොකද කරන්නේ opposite direction එකට force එකක් දෙනවා, that is friction. Okay? So friction usually we cannot see, but it's there. So I don't know if this example might be a little inappropriate, but let's say couple right? So there's a girl and a boy. And let's say the girl or the boy, let's say girl is trying to break up and to move away. Then what does the boy do? He is trying to stop the girl. Something like that. It's stop karne ka tame friction kela kya. Okay. So likewise for any object, right? let's say that metal මේ සුර තියෙනවා මගේ pencil case එක, right? So if I'm pushing the pencil case forward, the table is giving a force to the pencil case backwards, right? Trying to, කියන්නේ මම force එක දාන පැත්තට opposite පැත්තට තමයි table එකෙන් දෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ then you might wonder why. Actually lamai always in nature prefers equilibrium, or අපි simple විදිහට කිව්වොත් balance. nature එකෙන් සහ naturally මේ world එකේ හැමදේම හැමලෙම balance එකේ තියෙන එක තමයි preferred. එහෙම තියෙන එක තමයි හොඳ. එහෙම තියෙන එක තමයි normally balance කියන එක තමයි prefer කරන්නේ. දැන් table එක මෙහෙම තියෙනවා, object එක මෙහෙම තියෙනකොට it's balanced. but මම force එකක් දානවා කියන්නේ මම balance එක destroy කරනවා. right? මම balance එක destroy කරද්දී nature එකෙන් try කරනවා පුළුවන් තරම් balance එක තියාගන්න. අන්න ඒකට තමයි friction කියන force එක තියෙන්නේ. but මම ගොඩාක් වැඩිපුර force එකක් දැම්මොත් I can of course move the object, that's a different story, but friction is there to sort of try to keep the balance. Did you understand the concept a little bit? Because I will explain it further, but පොඩ්ඩක් හරි තේරුණාද දැනට? Yes or no? Thumbs up. මාරියට විතර තේරුනේ? චාලුක්‍යා, සෙනුදී, සශේලී, Dihansa, Rochelle, Stephanie. Got it? Okay. So actually, Sasha, you didn't understand? Okay, all right. So සමහර වෙලාවට මම දාන force එකකින් මේ object එක move වෙන්නෙත් නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. move වුණේ නැතත් මම force එකක් දාපු හැටි friction වැඩ කරනවා. all right. So ඒකෙන්ද friction කියන එක කෙනාව introduce කරන්නේ මෙහෙමයි. If somebody asks what is friction, and please lamai don't try to memorize this definition. මේක ටිකක් දිගයි. මේක memorize කරනවා කියන්නේ බොරු වැඩක්. Just try to get the idea. එතකොට exam එකේ what is friction කියලා අහුවොත් you can write it in your own words. It's all right. Okay? So අපි කියනවා ඔයගොල්ලෝ මෙන්න මේ diagram එක අඳ ගන්නවා. මම යටින් ලියනවා what is friction. Just draw this diagram. And trust me, මමත් මේ friction definition එක textbook එකේම තමයි මේකට copy paste කරා. Okay? It's the same thing. friction ගැන ගොඩක් interesting එකක් දැන් ඉස්සරහට කියා දෙනවා. I'm going to teach you something quite interesting about friction, but මේක draw කරලා මුලින් මේක ලියාගෙන ඉන්න, ඊට පස්සේ I will explain that. ඒකෙන් ඔයාලට full friction ගැන මුළු image එකම ඔළුවට යනවා. Okay? Definition එක first write it, then I'll explain the definition also. Fix it right. Lamai, what are you planning to do for A levels? I mean, it's very soon. It's too soon. Actually, you guys are still in grade 10. But I was a little curious. What are you all planning to do for A levels? Nikang Ogalang, Um, is there a particular stream that you have already decided, or are you thinking of like deciding later? What's your position now? Science, okay. Others? Have not decided yet? සමහරලාට like you know අපි චූටි කාලෙන් දැම්ම තියෙනවානේ මෙහෙම කරනවා කියලා. එහෙම තියෙන අයට සමහරට stream එක ගැන idea එකක් ඇති. But if you don't have any idea still, it's perfectly okay because you have a lot of time, you guys. It's still very soon. මට නිකන් curious ඉඳ මං ඇහුවේ. I want to do science, but I don't think I can do it. Why not? Why do you think you can't do it? Commerce, okay, good. What else? Haven't decided any of that yet. No worries, you have a lot of time. Science. Others? කවුද හිතාන් ඉන්නේ science කරන්න? Or are you all thinking of doing maths? Don't say that actually, Maria. Good results might, the keyword in what you said is might. Might means you're assuming. Okay. So maybe one of your term tests you may not have gotten good results, but still you have like plenty of term tests coming, you have O levels coming, you have a lot of time. Might is just an assumption. Okay, so assumptions මත වැඩි rely වෙන්න එපා because it all comes down to your hard work and how much of a discipline you have. If you really want to do science, you definitely can. Right? එහෙම can't කියලා එකක් නැහැ. Don't think about it too. Don't think about it like that. Okay? Commerce, okay, good. Commerce probably, but not decided. Okay. Languages, okay, interesting. I want to do business, but I didn't do commerce. I think so, right? මම දන්න විදිහට නම් limitation එකක් නැහැ. You mean you didn't do commerce as in for O levels? O level bucket subject එකක් commerce නෙවෙයිද? So, okay. So just a little extension of that. Do you all have any ambition? ඔගලන් නිකන් මෙහෙම this is what I want to do කියලා එහෙම හිතලා තියෙනවද? I'm just asking again. We can be fun. Because in previous batches also I ask these questions and I get interesting answers. To be a scientist. Good. Nice. Astronomy. Wow. Good. Psychologist. Good. Marine biologist. That's my stream. Good. Equestrian කියන්නේ කවුද? Equestrian. What else? What about others? What about others? Kuanitai. Kushit. Dihansa. Jevindu.
Engineer.
Engineer. Good. Then Osada. Stephanie. Rochelle. Do you all have any plan of what you want to become? Actuary. Okay, good. My best friend is doing actuarial science. Interesting. You have to do maths then, no? Fashion designer. Good. My younger sister is doing fashion designing. Interesting. Very interesting. See? Very nice. Entrepreneur. Good. This is very fun. I told you, right? The reason why I asked you that question is one of my students texted me. That student is actually doing A levels biology, and she wants to be a doctor. Hotel manager, good. That's very interesting. Mama ඒකට එන්න පොඩ්ඩක්. So I was texting her to reschedule her next class. එයා මට message එකක් දාලා තිබ්බා. So I remembered something that she told me. එයා චූටි කාලේ ඉඳන් she was always thinking යාගේ parents අතලුට දාපු දෙයක් තමයි that like become a doctor. You have to become a doctor. And then ekam යාගේ ඔළුවේ register වෙලා, so she also wants to become a doctor. And then recently she has had this like kind of a dilemma නිකන් හරි uncertain ගතියක් මට ඇත්තටම වෙන්න ඕනේ ડોක්ටර් කෙනෙක්ද biological මොකද්ද මගේ results because bioscience කරනකොට ඕනම එකක් එහෙම තමයි A level ඕනම stream එකක් කරනකොට අමාරුයි තමයි A level නේ A level කියන්නේ ඒකට තමයි so එතකොට මේ so she was a little confused and also a little discouraged demotivated so එයා මගෙන් ඇහුවා so I told her science ඔගලන්ගේ traditionally මං දන්න දැන් නම් ගොඩක් parents එච්චර traditional නෑ අපේ කාලේ නම් පොඩ්ඩක් අපේ කාලේ කියන්නේ ගොඩක් කාලයක් නෙමෙයි මේ decade එකකට අවුරුදු 10කට 11 12කට විතර එහානේ මම මේ කතා කරන්නේ මං එච්චර වයස නෑ so ඒ කාලේ චුට්ටක් විතර traditional ඊට කලින් කාලවල ඊටතර traditional but I think දැන් චුට්ටක් parents හරිය modern විදිහට හිතනවා but they all think if you do science it's always like bioscience karo doctor dentist vet or scientist then maths karot engineer then commerce karot banking business management and all that then arts karot you can go to like all these designing paths then music art subjects and there's another very common misconception අම්මලා සමහර parents කැමති නැහැ arts කරනවට so they think arts is easy they think science is difficult arts is easy that's a misconception ඕනම දෙයක් ඔයා dedicate වෙලා කරොත් it's easy it's bearable ඕනම දෙයක් ඔයා හරියට කරේ නැත්නම් you don't get good results right so කොහොම හරි මං ඒ ළමයට කිව්වේ when I did that story is very similar to mine because when I actually මට චූටි කාලේ ධම්ම even my grandfather like maybe a day before he passed away all he said was I want you to become a doctor so imagine the pressure so I always thought okay I have to become a doctor I have to make my parents happy I have to make my grandfather and my grandparents happy because everybody was like become a doctor so I'm not saying becoming a doctor is a bad thing it's actually one of the most noble jobs ever because saving someone's life is the greatest cause ever අපි මොන දේ කරත් අර saving someone's life කියන එකට match කරන්න බෑ and then so එහෙම ඉතින් I did so when I was doing A levels actually 1 second okay sorry so then during O levels only I realized that okay so I have been wanting to become a doctor because my parents have been telling me අතන මට එහෙම වෙන්න උවමනාවක් නැහැ කියලා මම realize කරේ A levels මැදදී right so ඊට පස්සේ I mean I anyways did A levels I did biology bioscience and then after A levels now I was very confused now දැන් අම්මලා කියපු විදිහට තමයි doctor වෙන්න ඕනලා තිබ්බේ කියලා මම realize කරා දැන් මම දන්නේ මම මොනවද කරන්න කියලා so then I was looking for like like I was just looking at different options law කරන්න පුළුවන් then architecture psychology ඔහොම එක එක මම බල හිටියා බල ඉන්නකොට like all private degrees මොකද මට second try A levels කරනවා කියන එක මම කැමති වුණේ නැහැ just because again I will have to spend another year එහෙම බල ඉන්නකොට තමයි A level results ආවා and I had pretty good results then I thought හරි results තිබ්බට still not what I want to do මට medicine යන results මදි කොහොමද but still science මට එහෙම එච්චර ආසාවක් තිබුණේ නැහැ I was very confused මම මොනවද කරන්නේ like my entire life felt like very dark and gloomy because no ambition no purpose means there's really not much meaning to life කියලා තමයි මට හිතුනේ so එහෙම ඉන්නකොට තමයි I got results and කොහොමත් results ආපු හින්දා my parents also didn't pressurize ඒක like when I was having that crisis my parents were like okay you need to figure it out so then I anyways applied for universities because getting a good result and being able to go to government universities is quite a big deal no so I applied to universities and somehow I got Colombo University Faculty of Science and then so මට ඒකත් ආවා ඒත් මට එහෙම ලොකුවට සතුටක් තිබුණේ නැහැ මොකද මට මොනවද ඕනේ කියලා මම දන්නේ නැහැනේ මට මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා and mama අනිත් කාරේ believe කරපු and I still believe that you always have to do what you like right whatever you do, career, life එකේ කරන career එක, it has to be something you like, because every day you will have to wake up, you will have to go to work, and that work should be something you like, right? නැත්තම් හැමදාම හැරිලා අපෝ එපා වෙනවා කිය complain කර වැඩට යනවා නම් ඒක වැඩක් නෑ, right? So එතකොට there was a lecturer, a professor living, who was a neighbor. So මම ඉතින් උදේට දකිනවා මේ professor then එතන මේ couple එකක්, one is a professor, other one is also a lecturer. So I always saw them. So උදේට මම දකිනවා, හවසට දකිනවා, and I was kind of like, okay. So okay, like, I just noticed them, and I thought maybe I should get some advice. So I went to meet that professor. He was a very nice person, very down to earth, very humble. Yeah, okay. So you got selected to Colombo University. That's a big deal. So do you like science? So I said, yes, I like science, but I don't know what I want to do. And then he was like, okay, so මෙන්න මේවා තමයි තියෙන්නේ. ඔයගොල්ලන් හිතන් ඉන්නේ bioscience කරොත් doctor විතරයි කියලා, but there are so many opportunities. It's like සමහරවට ඒ කියන්නේ අපි හිතන්නේ නැති ගොඩාක් දේවල් තියෙනවා. Right? Science කරොත් doctor විතරක් නෙවෙයි, maths කරොත් engineer විතරක් නෙවෙයි, commerce කරොත් banker or business management විතරක් නෙවෙයි. So there are so much more. So many opportunities, right? So then I thought, I was like very motivated. Okay. තව ගොඩක් දේවල් තියෙනවානේ. දැන් මම හිතන් හිටියේ doctor විතරයි කියලානේ. And then what I did was, I thought, okay, I want to do chemistry. So I went to university, and university එකේ ටිකක් දවස් ඉන්නකොට මට හිතුණා chemistry හරියන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. බලන්න ඉතින් අපි කොච්චර හිතුවත් life එකේ එක එක තැන්වලදී අපේ decisions වෙනස් වෙනවා. Right? So ඊට පස්සේ ටිකක් කලනකොට I liked environmental science. So then I selected environmental science, and my degree is actually environmental science, and I'm also doing my master's in a related subject. Environmental science is a lot. I'm doing marine ecology. එකයි මට who told marine biologist කෙනෙක් වෙන්න ඕන කියලා, Maria නේද? So that's why I said that's my cup of tea. So එහෙම. So එතකොට now I'm not just doing science. So I have Hope Education. I also have a chocolate factory, which I'm building with some partners. So I'm suddenly into business. And then also I'm doing a job in environmental science, right? So actually last week I wasn't able to do the class because there was this big workshop with UN people, like United Nations. So that was a pretty big workshop. So that is actually why, otherwise I wouldn't have canceled the class, but that was the reason why I had to cancel. So what I want to tell you is, sometimes අර එක පාතයක් මතම වෙලා මේකම කියනට වඩා, you need to know there are so many options. Right? I like your creativity. I like the diversity. So you have a lot of different things that you like. Astronomy, you said, fashion designing, you said, and then I got hotel manager. That's a very interesting job. Then actuary එක මම දැක්කා. ඊට පස්සේ businesswoman, because I'm interested in business and managing companies. Very interesting. Very good. And then Air Force pilot. So these are all like very interesting jobs. Horse rider or therapist. Okay, good. Horse rider. That's a very niche job. But horse riding කරන job එකක් තියෙනවද? Okay. So good. So I'm very happy to hear that you have a lot of different things that you like to do. So again, what I want to tell you is, if you don't know what you want to do yet, cabin crew. Okay, good. So if you don't know what to do now, don't worry about it. Because samar velavata, if you work hard, things will fall into place, and eventually everything's going to be okay. But just make sure that you work hard, that you are actually genuine, like you're a genuine, sincere person. Because at the end of the day, if you do good things will always happen to you. Okay, so matar message ateka tamai I wanted to ask you. So I told that student, doctor, I mean, if you want to be a doctor, amazing, because that's one of the best jobs in the world. Although doctors are gonna sacrifice එක අපි හැමෝම දන්නවනේ. It's not okay. The job itself is saving lives, but they are very busy. They always have work, and they have very less free time, right? So doctors, it's a very noble job, but at the same time, they make a big sacrifice for that job. So if you think you want to become a doctor, great, you should do that. And then she said that she'll think about it. Make sati keeping calling which is Sidya. But if you don't want, like you think about it, if you don't want to become a doctor, don't worry, because there are so many paths you can take. Right? Science kala karana science namang kene science nang godak paths තියෙනවා. Maths කරනවා නම් again godak paths තියෙනවා. I have so many friends engineering යන්න පුළුවන් maths, yes, that's definitely, you know that it's there. But engineering වල ලකුණු අඩු වෙලා අඩු වුණොත් you go to physical science, right? Again, there are so many opportunities. Data scientists, data analysts, ගොඩාක් තියෙනවා. right? මොකද science faculty එකේ තමයි physical science and biological sciences දෙකම තියෙන්නේ. Then මට ලොකුවට expose වෙලා නැහැ commerce පැත්ත, but I know that some of my friends are there, so I know that there are a lot of opportunities. And again, arts, it's a very creative, it's a very diverse field. So don't be limited, and don't be limited by what people say either. But of course, if it's good advice, you should take good advice. But yes, as long as you work hard, as long as I said, you are genuine, everything will be okay, right? So yes, interesting conversation. I wish you all the very best. And අපි මුලින්ම O level කරලා, let's take it step by step. But if you don't have it figured out yet, don't worry, you have a lot of time. Still in grade 10. Okay, so back to our lesson. I feel very motivated. I feel very motivated after this conversation. I hope you are too. Okay, so you did you write this? Okay. Okay. දැන් මම friction වල තියෙන මුල concept එකම එක diagram එකකින් ඔයාලට කියා දෙන්න හදනවා. Right? I will explain this once, I will explain this twice, but not more than that. So listen very carefully. Okay. ඔන්න අපිට තියෙනවා table එක. This is an object on the table. Okay. So මේකම දෙතුන් සැරයක් කරන හින්දා I will all right. ඔන්න මම දැන් මෙහෙම වැඩක් තමයි කරන්නේ. Okay. So this is the table. ඉරක් විතර තියෙන table එක. It's just the table top එක. Just a line I have drawn. And on top of the table top, we have this object. Okay. So this is what happens. I'm going to apply a force to this object. I want to move this to right hand side, right? මම දෙනවා මෙයාට force එකක් 5 newtons. This is the force. Red වලින් තියන්නේ අපි දාමු වෙන color එකක්. I will use blue color. Blue තමයි ඔන්න මම දෙන force එක. I apply a 5 newton force. දැන් මොකද කරන්නේ? මම 5 newton force එකක් apply කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ දැන් මේ object එක move වෙන ලෑස්ති වෙනවා. Right? Or maybe move වෙන. දැන් move වෙන ලෑස්ති වෙනවා. I told you the table. The object is in contact with the table now. The table does not like it. Right? මම කලින් කිව්වේ table එක කැමති නැහැ. එයා මොකද කරන්නේ? ඔයා 5 newtons දෙන්නේ. මම දෙනවා 5 newtons කියලා. එයා දෙනවා 5 newtons but in the opposite direction. Otherwise it can't stop the motion නේ. මම right hand side වල 5 newtons දීලා table එකත් friction එක right hand side වලට දුන්නොත් right side එකට forces වැඩි, so the object will actually move. But now I'm giving the force to right hand side, table එක කියනවා okay, so you give 5 newtons, wait till I give 5 newtons කියලා එයා මෙහෙම opposite direction එකට 5 newtons දෙනවා. This is friction. Now will the object move? Will the object move? What do you think? Stationary? No, no, yes. The object will not move. Good. Hari. Then mata therena. You know, this is like a competition, right? Then ma 5 Newton do na object එක move වුන්නේ නැහැ. ඇයි move වුන්නේ නැත්තේ? Table එකේ friction දීලා 5 newtons. So මම මොකද කරන්නේ? හරි. Okay. එහෙනම් මම වැඩි කරනවා 6 newtons වල. Table එක මොකද කරන්නේ? You gave 6 newtons. Wait till I also give 6 newtons කියලා friction එක එයාත් වැඩි කරනවා. See, the other surface can adjust the force, adjust friction. So the other surface, which is the table here, mama 6 වලට වැඩි කරා, මෙයා 6 වලට වැඩි කරා. Now will the object move? Will the object move? No. Then mama හිතනවා හරි. තාම ගියේ නැහැ. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my force to 8 newtons. දෙකක් වැඩි කරා. Okay, 8 newtons. Table එක නිකන් ඉන්නේ නැහැ. එයා මේක ලේසියෙන් අතාරින්නේ නැහැ. එයාත් දෙනවා 8 newtons. Still the object is not moving. All right. Okay. මම මොකද කරන්නේ? හරි. I'm going to increase my force to 9 newtons. පොඩ increase කරනවා. Unfortunately or fortunately, table එකට එන්න වැඩි කරන්න පුළුවන්, because you can see now here, initially I gave 5 newtons, table gave 5 newton friction. I increased to 6 newtons, table also increased friction to 6 newtons. I increased to 8 newtons, table also increased to 8 newtons friction. But මට ඕන තරම් වැඩි කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි table එකට ඕන තරම් වැඩි කරන්න බෑ. එයාට maximum එකක් තියෙනවා. I increased to 9 newtons, but the table's maximum is only 8 newtons. So it will only still, it can now here, it can only give 8 newtons. මෙතන 10 newtons, එයාට maximum 8 නේ. So මම 9 දුන්නට වැඩක් නෑ. එයාට දැන් maximum 8 විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. දැන් මොකද වෙන්නේ? Will the object move? දැන් මම 9 දෙනවා, table එක 8 දෙනවා. මෙතන 8 වලට මෙතනින් 8 balance වෙලා එකක් ඉතුරු වෙනවනේ. ඒ 1 newton වලින් this object will move towards right. Finally it's moving. Finally it's moving. Now what I do is, හැබැයි යා move වෙන්නේ 9 newtons වලින් නෙවෙයි, yeah? Because 9 newton force එකක් මම දුන්නාට there's a friction of 8 newtons, right? So මගේ දෙන 9 වලින් 8ක් අර 8ට balance වෙනවා. So only 1 newton is remaining. So the object will move to right using only that 1 newton. Okay. So now I'm going to increase to whatever I want. Then I move වෙනවා. කොහොමද move වෙන්නේ? මෙතන move වෙන්න පටන් ගත්තානේ. So මම 10 newtons එනවා. Table still the maximum is 8 newtons. So now it will move with a resultant or a balance of 2 newtons. Now තව දුන්නත් මෙයා move වෙවි යනවා. All right. So this is basically the story of friction. Blue and green වලින් mark කරලා තියෙන මම දීපු force එක. Red වලින් mark කරලා තියෙන friction එක. Right? Okay. So if you look at these two instances, right? Instance අමතක මේක බලන්න. Look at this instance. Here, the maximum friction that the table can give is 8 newtons. Mama then 8 newtons. I have matched the maximum friction that the table can give. Make it among එකක් හරි වැඩි කරොත් table එක object එක move වෙනවා. මෙතන තමයි limit එක, right? Because 8 newtons is the maximum frictional force that the table can give. මම ගාන්ට එකට match කරලා තියෙන්නේ. So this is the limit. Therefore, we call this the limiting frictional force. මෙතන තියෙන මේ 8 newton friction එකට අපි කියනවා limiting frictional force. All right. So because that's the limit. එතනින් එහාට වැඩි කරු ටක් ගාලා move වෙනවා. මේ දෙක බලන්න. limit එකට කලින් I'm giving a force, friction will increase to match that force. මම force එක වැඩි කරත් friction එක ගන්නට ඒකට match වෙන්න වැඩි වෙනවා. So friction is still there. මෙතනත් දැන් friction එක තියෙනවා, මෙතනත් friction එක තියෙනවා. But the object is not moving because the friction is matching the force that I'm giving. So in these two cases, අපි friction වලට කියන්නේ static friction. And we call this static friction. All right. Then after the limiting friction, මම කොච්චර වැඩි කරත් now the object will move because table එකට දෙන්න පුළුවන් maximum දැන් දීලා තියෙන්නේ. මම ඊට වඩා වැඩියෙන් දීපු ඉඳන් now the object will move. Here also friction is still there, right? මේ friction still තියෙනවානේ. එතන friction වලට අපි කියනවා dynamic friction. These are all names of friction, huh? Friction වලට කියන නම. So here limiting friction, this is the limit, right? Limit the limiting frictional force is this, right? Then in these two cases, static friction means here static friction is this, here static friction is this. Method dynamic friction can be friction no the kina naam tamai me tiya. Did you understand this story? There was a question, I think. So what type of friction acts on a helium balloon in the air when you pull it? So when you මෙහෙමයි. දැන් මේවා ගොඩක් තියන්නේ solid or liquid surfaces that are in contact තමයි අපි මේ friction කතා කරන්නේ. When it comes to air, also friction is there, but that friction we call it air resistance, right? සාමාන්‍යයෙන් let's say plane එකක් කියලා. plane එකක් air වල දැන් මෙහෙම උඩට පල්ලෙහාට නෙවෙයි මේ උඩට පල්ලෙහාටත් move වෙනවා, but ගොඩක් horizontally නේ යන්නේ plane එකක්. යද්දී the air particles surrounding the plane or the aeroplane doesn't like this motion. So they give a backward force to the aeroplane. So aeroplane must give a force that is greater than that. යාට මෙහෙම යන්න ඕන. නැත්තම් අර ගොල්ලන් මෙහෙම පිටිපස්සට force එකක් දෙනවා trying to stop the aeroplane. So that is air resistance. When you pull helium, it's not very clear because when you pull helium, you mean pulling the balloon down? Is that what you mean? Helium balloon එක උඩට යද්දී මම පල්ලෙහාට අදින එකද? Sideways, what do you mean? If the helium balloon is moving sideways, of course air resistance is there. So air resistance can atmosphere එකේ තියෙන friction එකට කියන special නම. That is also still friction. Like running towards something. Yes. That is air resistance. When you're dragging the helium balloon and you're helium balloon අපි හිතමු ඊට වඩා lazy imagine කරන kite එකක් කියලා. ඔයා kite එක අරගෙන දුවනවනේ. දුවද්දී ඔයා දුවන direction එකට kite එකක් move වෙනවා. ඒතකොට air particles opposite පැත්තට දෙනවා force එකක් trying to stop that motion. Same scenario for helium balloon also. If you hold a helium balloon and you run towards a certain direction, air particles කරන opposite පැත්තට force එකක් දෙනවා trying to stop the helium balloon. That is air resistance. That is a very good question actually. මොකද atmosphere එකේ friction ගැන අපි syllabus එකේ නැහැ. But I like it when you guys are curious, right? Because ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපේ education system එකේ තියෙන එකක් තමයි පොඩි කාලේ තමයි ළමයිගේ curiosity එක නැති කරනවා, right? You have to stick to the syllabus. That is an outer syllabus question. කියලා සමහර teachers answer කරන්නේ because even when I was young also මම නම් ටික ලැජ්ජයි මම එහෙම class එකේ ප්‍රශ්න අහන්නේ නැහැ. Most of the questions I had, I usually come home and Google. But සමහර ළමයි එහෙම එක curious ප්‍රශ්න අහන්නේ school teacher or classes, they're like, those are out of syllabus questions. කියලා ඒවට උත්තර දෙන්නේ නැහැ. But sometimes it's good to be curious because I'm quite a curious person. So when I get questions, I just Google or AI ගෙන් අහලා හරි මම answer එක දැනගන්නවා. So yes, Good. Any other questions? මොකද ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඕගලන්ට කියුරියෝසිටි ඇවිල්ලා කුතුහලයක් ඇවිල්ලා අහන ප්‍රශ්න අනිත් අයටත් සමහරවිට තියෙනවා මේ ප්‍රශ්නෙම. හැබැයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ ලැජ්ජයි අහන්න. සෝ එතකොට කවුරු හරි එක්කෙනෙක් හරි අහන්නේ කොහොමද? එතකොට ඒකට උත්තරයක් හම්බ වෙනවනේ අනිත් අයට. Any other questions? I'm just checking the chat box. Then I suppose it's clear for everybody, no? So we have, therefore, what I'm trying to say is that we have three types of friction. We have static friction. This is the friction that exists when the object is not moving. ඇයි object එක move වෙන්නේ නැත්තේ? මම වැඩි කරන සැරේට friction එකත් වැඩි වෙනවා. The limiting frictional force is the limit. This is where I have given a certain force and එයා තමයි opposite I can අනිත් surface එකට දෙන්න පුළුවන් maximum friction එක. So that is the limit. ඊට වඩා වැඩි වෙච්ච ගමන් move වෙනවා. So limiting frictional force, so the object is about to move. If you increase the force even a decimal, the object will start to move. Dynamic friction, the friction is still there, but the object is now moving. Can you put a subtopic? Types of frictional forces. And we are not going to write anything yet. Let's first draw this. ඔයගලන්ට පැත්තට ඉඩ තියෙනව නේද? Because I assume that all of you have CR books. Generally science වලට පොඩි පොතක් ටික අමාරුයි. ඒ කියන්නේ චූටි පොත හරි B5 එකත් මම වැඩි කැමති නැහැ use කරනවට. මොකද හොඳ ඉඩ තියෙන්න ඕනේ අපිට ලේසි එතකොට. So if you have a B5 book or a small book, it's okay. You can continue using that. But when that book is over, you're purchasing the next book. Make sure that you buy a CR book. CR book actually look in it. There's plenty of space. Anyhow, I think ඔයගලන්ට නිකන් normally අඳින්න ඉඩ ඇති. හැම ඉඩ නැත්තම් පොත අනිත් පැත්ත හරවලා දිගට අඳින්න. Make it fast. Give me while you were, is the class recording? Yeah, no. While you write this, give me a second, because I'm getting a cough.
ගන්නවද?
Let me know when you're done, lamai. Okay, lamai, I think that's enough time. One of you done. What about others? Give me a thumbs up if you have finished. Okay, so most of you are done, no? Okay. Kiyanne pe. Okay. Now let's write what each and every type of friction are. Okay. So, okay. Let's put a star and write Mataka Mariana static friction. So that you can pull the block. Yes. Pull or push. That's a force that we apply. Yes. Then okay, while you complete the question, I'll start writing. Huh? Force applied by exactly. So when we say force applied by the table, you will feel like okay, it's like very scary, like horror වගේ නිකන්. Table එකට force එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද? Like is table able to give a force? But actually, yes, table does apply a force. It is friction. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක නිකන් අර මාරම I had one student back in the days. එයා හැම එකක්ම මාර විදිහට imagine කරනවා. So it was very difficult for him to imagine that a table would give a force. But ඒක එච්චර ලොකුවට හිතන්න යන්න එපා. Just think not just a table, right? Let's say බීම කියලා. That බීම දැන් මෙතන පොළවේට තියෙනවා මගේ sofa එක ඉස්සරහ. Right? I have a couch here, right? Now let's say I want to move the couch. When I try to move the couch, the floor doesn't like when I move the couch because I told you nature always prefers a balance. So mama couch එක left side එකට move කරන්න හදද්දී flow එකෙන් couch එක right side එකට force එකක් දෙනවා trying to stop that motion. That is friction. Okay, so it's just a natural way. It's not just it's horizontal also. දැන් හිතන්න මෙතන මොකක් හරි තියනවා කියලා බිත්තිය ගහලා මම ඒක උඩට හරි පල්ලෙහාට හරි move කරොත් එහෙම let's say උඩට move කරනවා කියලා එයා පල්ලෙහාට force එකක් දෙනවා trying to stop that motion. Yes, couch has a weight. We are coming to that actual friction wala. There's an equation. ඒක අපිට syllabus එකේ නැහැ. Right, friction wala equation එකක් තියෙනවා where you calculate it using something called the perpendicular reaction force. That is related to weight. Right, we'll talk about it in a bit. However, the equation we are not going to learn because that is not in the syllabus. Okay, but I'll come to that weight part in a little bit once we write that. Okay, once we write this part. Okay, but that's a good question. This is very important. The object will not move. රන් ළමයි others? Shall we move on? Okay, put a subtopic. Factors that affect limiting frictional force. Factors that affect limiting frictional force. Did you put the topic? Give me a second, please. All right. So factors that affect limiting frictional force, we are going to be talking about 3 factors where 2 factors actually affect, right? So put a subtopic, number 1 කියලා perpendicular reaction force. Then I'll explain you I'll explain you what that means. Is there a way you can make money while traveling except pilot and air hostess? Well, yes. So one thing that you can do is, අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඔය travel vloggers so they make money obviously by traveling. For an example, I don't know if you have seen channels like travel with wife ඊට පස්සේ තව ඒ වගේ අර channels තියෙන්නේ YouTube or TikTok or like ඒ වගේ platforms වල sometimes you can make content, and as a content creator you can travel. So sometimes it could be within the country, or sometimes it can also be outside the country, where like you can go to other hotels. Sometimes like, I mean, of course, at the beginning, I don't think you can make money because you have to first have followers and all that. But then after you have a certain follower base, you can, you can get sponsorships. So hotels can pay you for you to come and like do a video about the hotel. Then ඊට පස්සේ like maybe different other tourist locations, maybe in Sri Lanka, maybe out of Sri Lanka. So I have seen many content creators who are Sri Lankan who make good money while traveling. I think Travel with Wife is just one example, but I have seen many travel channels. But I remember the name, sorry, faces of people. And also sometimes you can even make travel blogs. So they are not like video vlogs wage videos නෙවෙයි, but web pages, blogs කියලා කියන්නේ අපි. So I used to know a person who actually maintained a travel blog. Can you write about the travel experience and all that? So එයාටම ගොඩක් ලංකාවේ hotels වලින් ගොඩක් නෙවෙයි සමහර කතා කරා like pay කරලා, like they paid that person to come to their hotel and spend a few days and then write a good article about them. but එයාට ගොඩක් කරන්න බැරි වුණා. I think now she's not maintaining the blog, but again that is one way to make money. And yes, tour guides. So but the thing with tour guides is that if you want to become a tour guide, you need to be very familiar with that particular location. So එතකොට ඒ location එකට පොඩක් limit වෙනවා. For an example, again, I know a tour guide. එයා ගොඩක් ඔය hills පැතිවල hilly areas වල තමයි කරන්නේ foreigners අරන් යනවා hiking ආරෙමේ. So එතකොට එයා tour guide කරන්නේ එයා ඒ පැත්තනේ දැනගන්න ඕනේ. So hill country ගැන හොඳටම දන්නවා. So ඒ පැත්තේ තමයි එයා ඔක්කොම tour guides ඒ කියන්නේ මේ foreigners අප එකම අරන් යන්නේ. But එයාට coastal areas like ඔය අරුගාම්බේ eastern coast ඒ පැතිවල tour guide කරන්නේ නැහැ. So he's only limited to that particular area. But yes, tour guide could be one thing. And in addition to that, තාම මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? That's all I can think of. Sometimes, like if you do like a job that allows you to travel, for an example, now I'm currently working as a consultant for like carbon neutral or greenhouse gas emissions or local global trend like where all countries and companies are all trying to sort of reduce their greenhouse gas emissions and all this climate change compression in the so එවට we provide consultations for United Nations. So එතකොට දැන් ඒ වගේ job එක if you go to like if you climb up the ladder, sometimes you may get opportunities to travel to certain locations. I have not gotten, but you can get such opportunities where you like have to travel to different countries to do workshops and programs and all that. So that could allow you a little bit of traveling. So I think that's all I can tell you off the top of my head, but there could be many other opportunities that I'm also not aware of. You can do a little bit of Googling and a little bit of research. So there could be other opportunities too. ඇත්තටම අපි නොදන්න තව උන්තරම් opportunities ඇති අනිවාර්යයෙන්. All right. So, okay. Perpendicular reaction force. What this means is that ළමයි, let's say එහෙම තියෙනවා. So tour guide කියන්නේත් ඇත්තටම හරියම දැන් tour guide කියන එක හරිය underrated job එකක්. මොකද ගොඩක් අය tour guide කිව්වහම ඔය සමහර මිනිස්සු හැසිරෙන විදිහෙන් tour guide කියන job එක පොඩ්ඩක් වැඩි එච්චර respectful විදියට බලන්නේ නැහැ මිනිස්සු, especially coastal areas වල there are these like beach boys and all of them. I'm not saying anything because they are earning money, so that's okay, they are trying to earn income. But because of that, tour guides කියන එක respected නැහැ ලංකාවේ, but I know that because I told you, right, one of my friends is a tour guide. එයා එක properlyම කරනවා. So he's doing it as a proper respectful job. But so sometimes you have to like sort of adjust to the country and සමහර jobs තියෙනවා. For an example, tour guide කියන එක is of course a good job. But you have to see තමන් ඉන්න රටේ ඉන්නවනම් ඉඳගෙන එක කරන්න පුළුවන්ද. So you have to see the options, and also you have to see සමහර jobs අපි කොච්චර even though we talk about gender equality, sometimes there are certain jobs that are not suitable for both the genders. You can, for an example, then again tour guide එක ගත්තොත් එහෙම I personally would not recommend it to a girl. I'm not saying that girls cannot do it. Girls will do an excellent job. But it's about safety concerns, right? ඒක gender equality ගැන ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙවෙයි, but rather a problem that is about the safety of the person. තමන්ගේ job එක තැන safe තැනකනේ job එක කරන්න ඕනේ. So I just mentioned that because මට ඒ වෙලේ හිතුනේ tour guide කියන එක කියද්දී, but yeah, just letting you know. Okay. So then මෙහෙම table එකක් උඩ object එකක් තියෙද්දී, what are the forces acting on this object, as you know? Okay, so what are the forces? Okay, friction if I'm trying to move the object, no. So let's say I'm not moving the object, it's just there. If it's just there, what are the other forces acting on this object?
At rest.
At rest, yes, at rest. This object is not moving. So what are the forces acting on this object? Weight. Weight is a force acting on this object, right? Because weight is a force that acts on any object. So weight kenekena pallehata inna එක that is anyways there. Right? So weight කියන answer එක තමයි මට ඇත්තටම ඔයගලන්ගෙන් ගන්න ඕනුනේ. Weight is always there for any object. All right. Now you're going to learn a new force that is usually there in stationary objects. When two surfaces are in contact, each surface will give the other surface a force perpendicularly. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Now here the table and the object are in contact නේ. එතකොට table එකෙන් object එකට දෙනවා මෙහෙම perpendicular force එකක්. මෙන්න මෙහෙම. And then object එකෙන් table එකටත් දෙනවා මෙහෙම perpendicular force එකක්. Table එකට දෙන force එක අපිට වැඩක් නැහැ. So we are only talking about the object. So whenever two surfaces are in contact, each surface will give the other surface a perpendicular force. All right. So අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම දැන් හිතන්න මෙතන wall hanger එකක් එල්ලලා තියෙනවා කියලා බිත්තියේ. එතකොට wall hanger එකෙන් බිත්තියට perpendicular force එකක් දෙනවා. බිත්තියෙන් wall hanger එකට perpendicular force එකක් දෙනවා. Action reaction, right? But අපි object එකෙන් table එකට දෙන perpendicular force එක ගැන කතා කරන්නේ නැහැ. We are only talking about the perpendicular force that the table gives the object, right? So මේ force එක අපි usually mark කරන්නේ R කියලා and we call it the perpendicular reaction force. If the object is at rest එකේ ඉන්නවා නම් විතරක් usually the perpendicular reaction force is equal to the weight. That is only if the object is at rest. Okay. Okay, so let me tell you again. When any two surfaces are in contact, each surface gives the other surface a perpendicular force. So in this particular case, the table and the object are in contact with each other. So the table will give the object a perpendicular force upwards. At the same time, of course, the object also has weight. මෙයා rest එකේ නම් ඉන්නේ ඔක්කොම forces balance නේ. එතකොට උඩට තියෙන force එකයි පල්ලෙහාට තියෙන force එකයි equal. So if at rest only, at rest නම් විතරක් perpendicular reaction force is equal to the weight. Up to that point, is it clear? Up to that point, is it clear, Lamai? All right. Mama මේක කියන reason එක තමයි perpendicular reaction force is something new that you don't know. But if I say at rest perpendicular reaction force is equal to weight, what a perpendicular reaction force can idea එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. So you know it's equal to weight. Weight කියන එක දන්නවනේ කොහමද? Perpendicular reaction is the new thing that you are learning. But if I say that is equal to weight, you get an idea about perpendicular reaction force. Okay, I'll explain it again. So when two surfaces are in contact, each surface gives the other surface a perpendicular force. Then මෙතන table එකයි object එකයි they are in contact with each other. So the table gives the object a perpendicular force. එතන මෙතන perpendicular force එක හැම උඩ අතට එන්නේ. මම මේ right angle එකක් mark කරලා තියෙන්නේ because it's perpendicular. Usually this force we mark as capital R. It means perpendicular reaction force. Okay. So in addition to that, අපි කොහොමද දන්නවා object එකට weight එක කොහොමද තියෙනවා. ඒක අපි Newton's laws වල ඉගෙන ගත්තා. If the object is not moving, all the forces should be balanced. ඒ වෙලාවට විතරක් උඩට තියෙන perpendicular reaction force එක is equal to යටට තියෙන weight එක. Only at rest. Is that clear, Maria?
Yes, teacher, thank you.
All right. So now this is what we are going to do. We are going to do a little comparison. have 3 instances, right? මම මේ object එකක් consider කරනවා මේ object එක අපි හිතමු like let's say 2 kg 2 kg object එකක් මෙතන I'm going to keep this 2 kg object like this. Here also I'm going to keep a 2 kg object, and on top of that I'm going to keep another identical 2 kg object. Then here I'm going to keep a 2 kg object. I'm going to keep another 2 kg object on top and another 2 kg object on top. So all these objects are identical 2 kg objects, right? Then for each of these I'm going to connect a Newton's balance. Have you all seen a Newton's balance? Spring balance එකක් කියලා අපි කියන්නේ. දැකලා තියෙනවද spring balance එකක් ළමයි? Okay, some of you have seen. All right. මම චූටි කාලෙම දැකලා තියෙනවා spring balance එකක් because my father does tea estates තමයි කරන්නේ. එතකොට මේ තේ හැමදාම මේ කඩන තේදලු වල බර බලන්නේ මේ වගේ spring balance එකකින්. ඒ කාලේ මම දෙනා හිටියේ නැහැ spring balance කියලා, but later only I got to know, but I have seen it when I was a kid also. It's something like this where like we have a hook like this. මේකට ඕන එකක් hang කරාම අපිට මෙතන lever එක එහාට මෙහාට වෙනවා. මෙතන තියෙන්නේ weight එක. සමහරවිට mass එකක් පෙන්නනවා, but weight එක තමයි තියෙන්නේ. So this is called a spring balance generally, but හරියට අපි කියන්නේ Newton's balance කියලා. We call it Newton's balance to honor Newton. මොකද Newton ඒ force ගැන හොයාගත්තේ. So මේකෙනුත් ගොඩක් force ගැන weight ගැන readings තමයි ගන්න පුළුවන්. So to honor Newton, we also call this the Newton's balance. හරිද? දැන් මම මොකද කරන්නේ? I take a Newton's balance and I connect the hook to this 2 kg object. Right? And then here also I'm going to do the same. Here also I'm going to do the same. Then මෙතන එතකොට මේ objects දෙකම ඇදිලා එනවානේ. Here also I'm going to do the same, but here objects තුනම ඇදිලා එනවා. Then මම මෙහෙමයි කරන්නේ. First I'm taking instance 1 or instance A. This is instance A. I'm going to apply a force. දැන් මෙයා මම drag කරන්නේ Newton balance එකෙන්. කෙලින්ම මම මෙහෙම අදිනව නෙවෙයි. මම මෙයාට force එක දෙන්නේ through the Newton's balance. So මම මෙතන ඉඳන් තමයි මෙයාව අදින්නේ. This is my hand, which looks a little weird, but you get what I mean, right? So මම චුට්ට force එක වැඩි කරනවා. Force එක වැඩි කරනකොට මට Newton balance එකේ reading එක පෙන්නනවා. There are digital Newton balances also where the digitally reading එක එනවා. So 1, 2, 3, 4 likewise මම මෙහෙම වැඩි කරනවා. But the object is still not moving. I'm increasing the force, but the object is still not moving. වැඩි කරලා at some point the object is about to move. What තේරෙනවනේ පොඩ object එක shake වෙනවා වගේ. The object is about to move. That you feel like, I mean, when an object is about to move, what දැනනවනේ. You very slowly increase the force. Hemming, force එක වැඩි කරනවා. ඔන්න තාම object එක move වෙන්නේ. You increase the force little by little by little by little by little, and you can feel the object is moving now. Trying to move, about to move. අන්න එතනදිම ඔයාට අක්කලා Newton balance එකේ reading එක ගන්න. You take the Newton balance reading there. Okay? Is it clear ළමයි? ඒක තේරුණාද? Okay. So I will call that F1. Same thing in instance B. Now there are two kg objects, right? දෙකක් තියෙනවා. Which are stacked on top of each other, and I'm going to, now both the objects are here. I have the Newton's balance. From the Newton balance only, I apply the force. So I slowly increase the force one by one by one by one by. තාම objects දෙක move වෙන්නේ. So I slowly increase the force, and at some point, the objects are about to move. I can feel it. When it's about to move, I stop applying the force and I mark the force on the Newton's balance. මෙතන මං යාට කියනනම් F2 කියලා. Same thing here. Now there are 3 2 kg objects stacked on top of each other. I have again a spring balance or Newton's balance. I keep applying force slowly, වැඩි කරනවා. වැඩි කරනවා. තාම objects move වෙන්නේ. තව වැඩි කරනවා. එකපාරට objects නම් about to move කියලා මට දැනෙනවා. ටක් ගාලා මං එතන reading එක ගන්නවා. So this is F3. Okay, this is instance C. Do you think F1 or F2 or F3 is greater? F1 the ලොකු, F2 the ලොකු, F3 the ලොකු. Yes.
F3.
Yes. F1 වලට වඩා F2 වැඩි. F2 ට වඩා F3 වැඩි. So F3 is the largest force, F1 is the smallest force. What do these forces? දැන් අපි මේ කියන්නේ අපි apply කරපු force එකනේ. F1 කියන්නේත් මම apply කරපු force එකක්. F2 කියන්නේත් මම apply කරපු force එකක්. F3 කියන්නේත් මම apply කරපු force එකක්. But in the topic we are saying factors that affect limiting frictional force. But F1 or F2 or F3 are not limiting frictional force. Right? These are all the forces that I apply. Then how do we connect this to limiting frictional force? Remember, lamai, limiting frictional force තැනදී, the force that I apply is equal to the limiting frictional force. So yes, here F1, F2, and F3 are the forces that I apply, but here at this particular location, the object is about to move. About to move තැනදී friction එක අපි කියන්නේ limiting frictional force. So limiting frictional force තැනදී, the force that I apply is equal to the limiting frictional force. So F1, F2, F3 are the force that I apply, yes, but it is equal to the limiting frictional force. So ඒ කියන්නේ F1, F2, F3 කියන්නේ limiting frictional force එකම තමයි. Did you all understand that? Others? Okay, so you said F3 is the greatest, F1 is the smallest or lowest. So then, බලන්න ළමයි මෙතන, you can see A වල weight එක අඩුයි, right? A වල weight එක කියන්නේ W equals mg, right? So you can say weight equals W equals mg. Here mass is 2 kg, gravitational acceleration is 10, so weight is 20 newtons, right? Then same calculation you can do here, but here the mass is 4. So 4 times 10 is 40 newtons. Here it's 6. So 6 times 10 is 60 newtons. Here the weight is 20, here weight is 40, here weight is 60. So මෙයාගේ weight එක අඩුයි, මෙයාගේ weight එක වැඩි. So here we said weight is equal to the perpendicular reaction force. So here if the weight is the lowest, that means perpendicular reaction force is also the lowest. Here the weight is the highest means perpendicular reaction force is the highest. That means when the perpendicular reaction force, yes Asheli.
What is perpendicular reaction force?
So perpendicular reaction force, as I said here, is that when two surfaces are in contact with each other, each surface gives the other surface a perpendicular force. Now here the table and the object are in contact. So the table gives the object a perpendicular force. That is the perpendicular reaction force. ඒක වෙන්නේ objects දෙකක් contact එකේ තිබ්බොත් විතරයි. Weight කියන එක ඕන object එකක තියෙනවා. Do you understand?
Can you explain it simply?
සිම්පල්ම විදියට ගත්තොත් ඕනිම හරි හිතන්නකො දැන් කවුච් එකක් තියෙනවා රයිට් කවුච් එක තියෙනවා ෆ්ලෝ එකේ රයිට් so එතකොට ෆ්ලෝ එකෙන් කවුච් එකට උඩ අතට දෙනවා perpendicular force එකක් it's not something we can see of course but it's there then ඔයාගේ මේසුර මොනවද තියෙන්නේ now let's say you are joining the class from අපි හිතමු ෆෝන් එකෙන් කියලා ඒතර ෆෝන් එක කොහේ හරි සෙට් කරලානේ තියෙන්නේ කියන්නේ හිටවලානේ තියෙන්නේ මේසුඩ on your desk so එතකොට ඩෙස්ක් එකේ ඉඳලා now මෙහෙම ඩෙස්ක් එක තියෙනවා ෆෝන් එක මෙහෙම තියෙනවා right එතකොට ටේබල් එකේ ඉඳන් ෆෝන් එකට because they are in contact with each other ටේබල් එකේ ඉඳන් ෆෝන් එකම upward force එකක් එනවා right ඒතර ඕනම surfaces දෙකක් contact වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් ඒ එක surface එකකින් අනිත් surface එකට perpendicular force එකක් දෙනවා that is perpendicular reaction force weight කියන්නේ කොහොමද පල්ලෙහාට තියෙන ඕනම object එක so here in this particular case when an object is at rest, perpendicular reaction force is equal to weight. So here, perpendicular reaction force is lowest, again weight is lowest, and also limiting frictional force is also lowest. Here, weight is highest, perpendicular reaction force is also highest, and limiting frictional force is also highest. Is that clear, Shelly?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So because of that, we can say limiting frictional force depends on the perpendicular reaction force. Is that clear? Limiting frictional force depends on perpendicular reaction force. Is it clear, Lamai? All right. I think you put number 1 perpendicular reaction force කියලා subtopic එකක් දැම්මනේ. Can you all draw this diagram? මේ පැත්තේ තියෙන එකත් අඳින්න. It's kind of important. ඊට පස්සේ අපි පොඩකින්. Before we write this, මේක චුට්ටක් පල්ලෙහාට කරන්න. අපි මුලින්ම perpendicular reaction force ගැන චුට්ටක් ලියලෙමු. One second. Don't write anything yet. Just copy this diagram, please. මේ diagram එක copy කරගන්න. Sometimes perpendicular reaction force we also call normal reaction force. Symbol is capital R. First make a liagan and then I'll scroll down, otherwise you will not be able to see.
Uh,
All right, Lama, I'll move the board a little down. I think you guys have written it. Okay. I hope you can see, huh? So there are a few sentences because mama sentences කීපයක් දාන reason එක. Now I'm pretty sure you understand, but let's say you look at this note after like a week or two. එතකොට තේරුන්නේ නැත්තම් වැඩක් නෑ, right? But මම පුළුවන් තරම් අපි normal කතා කරපු විදිහටම තමයි note එකේ දැම්මේ language එක. So that even after a week or two you come back and read the note, you still should understand everything properly. That's why. Okay, quickly write this. I'll give you a few minutes and let me know when you're done. Huh? And also, while you write this, give me like 3-4 minutes. Huh? Okay, quickly. Done writing, lamai? Give me a thumbs up. Others? Others, what about others still writing? Who's still writing? All right. I'll give you 2 more minutes, huh? For those of you who are still writing, I'll give 2 more minutes. Quickly write. All right, let's move on. Put number 2. Number 1, we learned perpendicular reaction force. Number 2, the nature of the contact surface. Nature of the contact surface. Okay. So here, this is pretty simple. First, but once that is over, the second one is quite easy, right? Here, we are going to use 2 surfaces. 2, or if you want, you can even use 3. Mama 2 surfaces use karna. So, on this surface, I'm going to place a 2 kg object. Just like previously, right? Now I'm going to take another surface and I'm going to place an object at the same mass. But the difference between these 2 surfaces is that this is a smooth surface. Man kyana mea instance P kyala, mea instance Q. This is a smooth surface. And this is a rough surface. So make it up to use sandpaper rough surface. A smooth surface you can use like a piece of silk or some silk cloth use නැත්නම් sandpapers දෙකක්ම එකක roughness එක අඩු එකක් අනිත් එක roughness එක වැඩි එකක් වගේ use කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. somehow two surfaces that have two different textures. Okay. And we are going to do the same thing. මෙහෙම spring balance එකක් Newton balance එකක් connect කරනවා මෙයාට. මෙයාටත් අපි Newton balance එකක් connect කරනවා. And just like I previously said, I'm going to apply a force to this Newton balance. And put at the force එක වැඩි කර බලනවා. The point where the object is about to move, I record that force. Here, let's say that is F1. Here also I apply a force. I slowly increase the force. The point where the object is about to move, I record that force as F2. So F1 and F2 are the forces that I apply, but we know when the object is about to move, the force I apply is equal to limiting frictional force. Again, F1 and F2 can limiting frictional force. Do you think F1 the වැඩි, F2 the වැඩි?
F1.
ඒ කියන්නේ move කරන්න අමාරුම එක මොකක්ද මේ දෙකෙන්? P ඒ කියන්නේ smooth surface එකද Q or which is a rough surface ද?
Rough.
move කරන්න අමාරුම එක කියන rough surface එක. move කරන්න අමාරුයි කියන්නේ friction වැඩි කියන එක. ඒ කියන්නේ අනිත් පැත්තෙන් දෙන friction force එක වැඩි හින්දානේ මට යා move කරන්න බැරි. ඒ කියන්නේ F2 should be higher. F1 it's a smooth surface. It's very easy. Force එක චුට්ටක් වැඩි කරගුණා මෙයාට ගලනවා. But F2 it's a rough surface. Wow. ටිකක් වැඩිපුර වැඩි කරන්න ඕනේ in order to move the object. So here F2 is greater than F2 is greater than F1. So we can, is that clear, Lamai? Give me a thumbs up if you understood. All right. Mathakama draw කරලා අඳගන්න ළමයි, make it fast. Quickly write this. I'll give you 4 minutes. Make it fast. One more minute. Lamai, for lesson 6, there is a PDF. එකෙන් අපි ළඟට කරන lesson එක. මම ඒකේ PDF එක ඔයගලන්ට එවලා තියන්නම්. When you come next week to the class, please take a printout. Right? Keep a printout with you when you come to the class. Because 6th lesson එක කියන්නේ biology lesson එකක්. No point writing. We'll just use the printed note. Okay? So I'll send the PDF. මම 6th lesson එකයි 8th lesson එකයි. 8th lesson එක is characteristics of living organisms. Both those lessons I will send you. All right. So take a printout and keep it with you. Keep it කියන්නේ. Next week අපි 6th එක කරනවා. Then we'll do the 7th one and then we'll come to the 8th one. But still, if possible, get both the printouts so that you will not forget. මතක් වෙන වෙලේ ඒක අරගෙන තියාගන්න. All right. Okay, so nature of the contact surfaces. I hope this is clear for everybody. Huh? Then number 3, දාගන්න. Area area of the contact surfaces. Yeah, area of the contact surfaces is enough. Now this is what I do. I take the same surface. එකම surface එක තමයි මම ගන්න. Now I have a certain cuboid. මෙහෙම cuboid එකක් තමයි මට. Sorry. I have a cuboid that looks something like this. This is a cuboid, right? So, you know here, this top surface, if you take this top surface, and this bottom surface. Do you understand that both of them have the same surface area? Clear, do you all understand that? Yeah. So if I call this surface A, this also has the same area. So that is also A. In the first instance, we come object, same object, but here I am going to keep surface A in contact with the with our table. Our table so that it's a little easier to see. මෙහෙම table එකක් තියෙනවා. මම table එක උඩ A කියන surface එක තමයි contact වෙන්නේ. So here surface A of the object is in contact with the table surface. ඒක clear ද? First instance එක clear ද ඔයගලන්ට ළමයි? All right. Others? Others, is it clear? Quickly tell. All right. Then if you take this surface, මෙයාටයි තියෙන same surface area එක නේද? මෙයාටයි තියෙන same surface area. So I will call it B. This has surface area B. එකම තමයි මෙයාටත් තියෙන්නේ. So what I'm going to do is in the second instance, we same object, huh? Same object. Can't rotate it. Mama ekihinda ekka metanama thiyala. I will redraw it here. Very roughly ma ekka draw karana something like this. So now in this particular case, same object, but here surface B is in contact with the table. Surface B is in contact with the table. Now this is the table. Here, I'll write it down here. Surface B of the object is in contact with the table surface. Then if you look at this, the same object, huh? Same object, okay, if you consider this surface. May surface के surface area එකම නේද? මේ surface එකේ surface area එකම නේද? මේ පිටිපස්ස surface එකටත් තියෙන ළමයි. Same object, but we are talking about different surfaces. Right? So if I say that here this surface area is C, may surface area cut C. Is that clear? C part එක clear ද ළමයි? Give me a thumbs up. Others? Others, is it clear? Last instance is clear ද? All right. Now here in this particular case, I'm going to make C in contact with the table like this. So in this particular case, surface C is in contact with the table surface. This is our table. This is the table. Three different instances, three different surfaces, but it's the same object, huh? Same object. Here, surface C of the object is in contact with the table surface. Now, in all these three instances, I'm going to connect a Newton balance. I'm going to connect a Newton balance. Same object, but three different instances. And I'm going to slowly increase the force in each instance, and I'm going to get the force when the object is about to move. Here, let's say force eකට අපි කියමු FA කියලා. මෙතන force eකට I will call it FB. මෙතන force eකට I will call it FC. Do you think FA or FB or FC is the highest? What do you think? I got one answer. Actually, even though these are three different surfaces, but it's the same object, right? Since it's the same object, but three different surfaces, so three different surfaces means three different surface areas. But it's the same object. Therefore, actually here, what will happen is that if FA will be equal to FB, and that will be equal to FC. Even though they are just same object අපි තුන් පැත්තට හරව තියෙනවා, right? So surface එක වෙනස් වෙනවා කියන්නේ surface area වෙනස් වෙනවා. Surface area that is in contact with the table වෙනස් වෙනවා. But it's the same object we're talking about, right? ඒක හින්දා limiting frictional force එක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Is that clear? Give me a thumbs up if it's clear. All right, so can you all start drawing? එතකම මම යාට note එක ලියන්නම්. එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලන් draw කරන්න පටන් ගන්නවද? Start drawing. So, Ramai, we said in the first factor, we said limiting frictional force depends on the perpendicular reaction force. In the second factor, we said limiting frictional force depends on the nature of the surface in contact. But in the third one, limiting frictional force does not depend on the area of the contact surfaces. Okay, the mono contact surface, but same object, now limiting frictional force does not change. Make MCQs so please take this specially into your head. Quickly write this. I'll give you 4 minutes, make it fast. Done, ළමයි? Do you all need more time? Who's still writing?
Me.
All right. I'll give you 2 more minutes. I know, so okay, others are also still writing. I'll give you 2 more minutes. Done, ළමයි? All right. So let's stop there. We have a little bit more in friction, which we will be doing next day. It's just a little bit of a theory part. Ek explain කරන්න විතරයි තියෙන්නේ because I'm going to give it to you as homework to write. So yes, as I said, I will send the note of the 6th lesson. Please take a printout and come. මට ආයෙ මතක් කරන්න ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයගන්ට මතක් කරන්න මට මතක් වෙයිද දන්නේ නැහැ. So ඒකින්ද